Hello, everyone. We are going live on YouTube. I want to welcome you here to Gov School, where we have Dr. Cynthia Harper with us today, and she's going to talk to you today. We've called this one Micro Magic, and may have to do this a little bit later on YouTube. It's a little bit different than usual. There we go. Okay, there we go. We're getting everything. Everything changes. It seems like all the time, doesn't it? As we get all this new technology. So we're letting everybody in the room just give me just a few minutes, and we'll get started here. Come over at 4:02, I think we'll do today. Got a little poll up there you can take. If you want to, you should be able to pop onto the polls or either just scan that with a QR code on your phone and you can answer the questions for it. Give us some guidance on who's in the room and, sort of your technical knowledge as folks do come in the room helps us understand where you're at in this field. My name is Mark. I'm one of the founders of GovDirections here with one of our services that we offer, including our RFP delivery service, but Gov School, where we like to not only help you first find the bids, but then teach you how to really win them. And I have with me today Dr. Cynthia Harper. She's, of course, I think you know by now, she's my favorite speaker, comes and talks to you about topics. She's got a wealth of knowledge in this field, and I'm going to welcome her here today, and we're going to guide this together and answer some of your questions about micro-purchase. I call it micro magic. That's what we decided to call this class today, primarily because it seems all magical until you find out the secrets. And when you know the secrets, it's not such a magic experience requirement. It's just that you got to know what to do. So, Cynthia, how are you doing today?
I am absolutely wonderful, Mark. I'm trying to get into so you did give me access to the screen share, didn't you?
Let me give the screen share to you right now. Okay.
I'm wonderful, guys. And I am so excited to share with you all this information. You would think that this was, I feel like a kid at Christmas time. Why? Because I see the value of I see how we can simplify what some of us have made really, really a bigger deal than what it is. And we don't have to, we are a team here. That's the great thing about GovDirections, is GovDirections want us to win. They've created a platform of training so that we can win. And so funny that as we get started on this micro magic, as we're talking about micro purchasing, I said to myself, it's like Cornelius in here. I said to myself, oh my goodness, if we spent a little more time on micro purchases and simplified acquisitions, we would be so further along. And so as I was thinking about this group in this class and what we would be discussing today, one of the things I wanted to pose to you all before we really get into this topic, one of the things I wanted to pose to you is, have you heard of, tell me which one of these, and I need you to make sure that you list the name of your business inside of the notes, the chat room, so that we'll know who you are, as well as if you have an opportunity to put your website or your capability statement so that you might meet a partner, so that you might find someone that you can team with, someone that you are able to build with. Because in this business, we don't have to worry about being alone. We need to be a team. We need to co-op together so that we can all win. And this is why I'm so excited, because what we're in the process of learning, everybody can win. And it's not a difficult process. And I was thinking about the name that Mark gave the class, and he said micro magic. But you know what the magic is? The magic is learning. The magic is availing yourself to the information that's not hidden from you, availing yourself to what is already there. And that's what they've done with micro purchasing and simplified acquisitions. It's not hidden or tucked away. It's actually in plain view. Mark, what do you think about that?
I think you're right.
It's
straight up.
It's not hitting away. And when I thought about in 2021 and 2022, when I was really using mine, taking advantage of micro purchasing, all you needed was a credit card. All I needed was an ability to take credit from the officer, the contracting officer who was purchasing. And one of the things that I wanted to say to you all is, the Department of Defense was who I did my first micro purchase with. And as I was looking at federal the FD, what is it more? I'm all nervous because it's so exciting. As I was looking at yesterday at the PDS, I noticed that the Department of Defense do a lot of small acquisitions. So for those of you that offer a quality product, a service, or some goods, and they are available to you immediately, this is a way to build past performance. And so I want to talk to you all and share with you all what I have garnered for you is simple, but it is so true. So how many of you have heard this? If you heard this statement, I want you to write this in the chat. Have you heard anybody say, don't despise the days of small beginning, or start small, dream big, but just start? Have you heard quotes like that before? Have you heard quotes like, bloom where you're planted? If you are familiar with those types of sayings, this is exactly how I view micro purchasing. Start where you are. And it is absolutely, don't think that you're small stuff because you're going after these amazing opportunities that are smaller, but gives you an opportunity to do business repeatedly with the government. So let's ask ourselves, guys, what is micro purchasing? What is this? What is micro purchasing? You know, my computer was acting up and I said, nope, not today, not today, not today. So what is micro purchasing? And is anyone on the call ever been a part of a micro purchase acquisition or a procurement up to now? Do we have anyone that's participated in micro purchasing thus far? Micro purchases is an opportunity for small businesses. And guess what I discovered? Even more so, you really don't even have to be registered in SAMS to participate in the micro purchasing program. What you need to do is have the opportunity to introduce yourself to contractors and purchasing officers, procurement managers, and offer your services. And it is an opportunity for you to not have to go through all the rhetoric and the headaches as it relates to the bid process, having major teams that you have to fill in order. It is just what it says. It is a micro purchase. It is a purchase that a contracting officer has the opportunity to purchase without bid process, without all the process, all the paperwork. Gives you as a small business the opportunity to garner what we call past performance. It is an amazing opportunity. And I'm going to show you how we're going to go in and find some of those. So what is micro purchasing? It is, do you take credit cards? When you sign up, because most of us are registered in SAMS, when you sign up for SAMS, did you know that you are have the ability to take credit cards? Not a difficult process. This will exempt you from a lot of things and build credit, and you can make money, and you can use, they can purchase from you over and over and over again. And there's a threshold. The threshold is only $10,000. But imagine striking that card 4 times in a month for services, supplies, goods, training, professional services. Imagine striking that card with some contracting officer who has found favor in you, who understand you, who work well with you, and you've made their job and their life easier. That's what micro purchasing is. It's not a difficult process, and anyone can do it, but you do have to network and you have to make it work. And so some of the benefits of micro purchasing is that you create past performance. There is trust built with a contracting officer. He or she will know your name. It's not a major process. You don't need certifications. You don't need to have a delegation as a woman-owned business or a veteran-owned small business or an 8A business. All you need is the ability to provide and execute, as well as to receive credit cards from the procurement manager, the contracting officer. It is absolutely wonderful. And I just thought about all the businesses that get up here and we think, okay, I'm going to win $1 million contract. Can you afford to win $1 million contract? Do we have the time initially and the personnel to win a $1 million contract. It requires a lot to win and sustain and maintain an excellent $1 million contract. But you will get there once you jump into this ring and throw your hat in, then you will experience the magic of those larger contracts. I mean, how does it differ from a simplified acquisition threshold? So micro purchasing actually has a threshold of $10,000. So if the government decides that they need to buy some books, and the books cost $9,999, and you can afford, you can sell that good or service to the military, then they will use you. But a simplified acquisition threshold is pretty much $250,000. But even that you don't have to bid on. That allows you to participate and gain what we call past performance. And as I said earlier, no one has to be registered in SAMS to qualify for a micro purchase. It is a small purchase that you and I can manage. And I think we get on the bid process every day and we look at these phenomenal opportunities and we think, oh, I'd love to get that. And that's wonderful. But wouldn't you love to win daily, monthly, something that you don't have to bid on, that you don't have to have the headache of staffing a huge team for, and it keeps your business going afloat? Because the one thing that I found frustrated when I first started doing government procurement was it takes so long to win a contract. Even if you win $1 million contract, a $20 million contract, a $80 million contract, and you're a part of a team, that's a year, 2 years out of work that's generally required for people like us to go through. And so why not get some micro money and let the magic begin with you? Why not position yourself to win on a regular basis and garner what we call past performance? Mark, talk about that a little bit.
Sure. You touched on a number of items so far, and I'm just going to kind of catch up with it. You asked, the audience, first of all, has anyone actually done any micro purchasing? I didn't answer the poll myself, but I have, of course. I've been doing this for 30 years, so I've got some background. Okay, but in the poll, there's, out of everybody so far, 14 answered, 0 have had a micro purchase, which is really the number one way to start doing business. Just as an example, and we're focusing right now a lot on the federal government level, which is that $10,000 threshold, and then you step up into SAM, and you're at the $25,000 to $250,000 simplified process. The first step, you really don't have to have any kind of competitive arrangement. But in local government and state government, is often different thresholds. I know, for example, my work, I primarily work with state governments or local governments. And that's traditionally ones I work on is about 25,000 threshold, where somebody can just pick up the phone, call me, and ask me to do business with them. And as I'm talking to them about my business and everything, they'll say politely that, if you're less than 25,000, we can go through a simplified process. Same kind of conversational definition as a micro purchase. And so a lot of times my pricing ends up to being about 24,999. Kind of works out that way. And so those are a dime a dozen kind of transactions that can occur and really keep your business afloat, like you said. And not a lot of background requirements in that, besides having a strong reputation and advertising yourself in the right way. And so I think that sort of leads into some of the things we also want to talk about. And we're talking briefly about that, the Federal Procurement Data System, PDS, which is as a part of SAM now, System for Award Management. It's there for you to go in and take a look at some of the transactions that can occur.
Absolutely. So though we skip something, we will come back to the other thing. Let's talk about the fpds.gov. Mark, can you pull that up for me?
Yeah, I can. It's good here. I'll share that right now. I want to talk
about this. This is key to the success of micro purchasing. Why? These are the officers who are buying. You can find out their name and you can find out where they work, their phone number. You can send them emails. You can chat with them. Get to know them, because this is still business development. It's still capture management. It's still getting to meet your people. So FPDS is a portal. It's a reservoir of all the agencies, all the contracted managers, who spends what, the sub-agencies, who's won what. And you can easily touch them This is why it's so important that you are registered with, we always talk about this, with the dynamics business research, dynamic service research. It's important that everything that we learned up here, that we put it into action. Get yourself registered in these things. So let's pull up the fpds.gov when Mark gets through with that.
Sure. And so, as everybody probably knows, FPDS was its own website, as was a lot of different places. And during the pandemic, SAM.gov has pulled all the websites together. So you could have in the past gone to fpds.gov, which you can still do, and it'll explain that and give you really into some of the details. But you can also click through on the very specific reports that are available at Contract Data, okay? And you can actually tap in there and learn about the individual pieces of information, a little bit more explanation, ad hoc reports, full class reports. This tells you all the planning, and they actually have went ahead and designed some standardized reports for you. And a quick start guide to help you in understanding that. And so, Cynthia, I'll go back to the actual website. You'd wanted me to go to that for, you may have looked there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So here you should be seeing the easy search system.
Okay. So I guess I need to stop my share so I can see it here. There we go.
Is that what's happening? I was wondering. Okay, yes, so I've got it on the screen in front of us.
Okay, here we go. So this is the easy search. So let's put some things in the chat that you would like to see if there's micro purchasing available. We could talk about janitorial supplies. We could talk about medical supplies, training. Mark lists one of those in the easy search, janitorial. Awesome. Wonderful way to start searching. Now, as you see right here inside of the search, to the left of you, you see the top 10 departments, right? Who's spending money in terms of who's listed, right? The top 10, the first one is what? That's the full name of the department that's spending money. Always, I've noticed always that the Department of Defense, who purchase for all the military installations and other military outfits, they're always at the top because they purchase a lot of everything. Uniforms, equipment, janitorial supplies, you name it, they purchase it. Under that is another full list of business names. These are different groups and companies who's won contracts in the federal arena. As you can see, just look at how much information is here. As he enlarges this information, you'll see the name of the business. You will see if the view, how many times the federal space has added some more data to that procurement bid. You see that it's the contracting agency for the top one is the Department of the Navy. It's easy to pull up the legal business that won this business. And how much did they win on this one, Mark?
In this first one?
Yes.
This was a zero obligation. So they basically got a contract and they go in there and do some work. Because like the second one, they actually gave an obligation. So this is the total amount of the contract, $323,000. So sometimes you can win an open-ended contract. Sometimes it's very specific in what you have to go in and do.
So this right here, this is why we often say, have a great capability statement, because some of these people can be your teaming partners. Some of these people can be people that you do business with. And then the third, Mark, there's a search up under the contracting agency. What I want you to get familiar with is, okay, so we have the legal businesses here. I don't want to go to the Treasury account. Let's go back up. I'm sorry. I want you to get into, if you go to the Department of the Army, you will find out who the contracting agency is and who the contract manager is. Once you find out this person's name and number, this is a place to sell your capability statement. Get to know them. Let them know you are available to provide services to their industry. Now, one of the things that I learned today was date signed. If you come to the right-hand side, Mark, all the way down, I think it's the 5th or the 4th on the right-hand side in the sort order, date signed will give you absolutely, this will define to you how late, how soon, when was this contract set apart, when was it created, and what's what stage are they in? So you need to know when, like, this is different from RFP delivery. with Gov Directions, every day we have a repository of opportunities that are coming out. If you come into this reservoir, in this database, you go to date sign, we come down, Mark, and we hit search. Let me show you something great about this. If you hit the date sign, you come all the way down. There we go. And then we do advanced search. There's something at the very top that says advanced search. Let's go into advanced search.
Okay, I'm lost right up here. Okay.
It says go clear, go advanced search. So we're going to put in, there we go. There we go. And so we want to see, so we put in janitorial service. We're going to select one. What are we looking for? We're going to go down for date sign for the contract. So come down. I thought this was so awesome. Date sign. And we're going to see from what date. So let's put in a date, Mark, from last week till today. You have to make sure, as we're doing this, you have to populate it as it is on the calendar. So you don't change and put the 2. So that's from, there we go. And then let's put today's date. Great. Okay. And then let's get.
The reason why is because we looked specifically for a individual company there. They haven't won anything the last week. Let me go back. I know what you were going to do there. So I'm going to look at all of them. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. This is Frommer. Okay. Going back. Here we go. This is multiple ones. Okay. Now we want to go to advanced search. And we want to do add date sign.
Look at, if you just look right, stop for 1 second, Mark.
Okay.
I want you all to take a look at the first 2 opportunities. One is $52,000, right? That was the action obligation. That is a simplified acquisition. They did not have to bid that. That is showing you they went to the department, whatever service they provided for them, it is listed right here. The next one is definitely a micro purchase. It is what? $3,300. You could probably win multiple ones like this weekly if you begin to use this search here, this engine, and find out who the contracting officers are and allow them to know your availability, what you offer, because we got in this business to be successful, to make money. And so the way we make money is we mingle with contracting officers, other companies. And you can add the state. There we go, date sign.
I'm going to broaden out the search just a little bit. So look, okay. And the good news is you can nowadays with this type, when you pull this kind of information down, okay, we've got 3 different levels of contracts that have been issued recently. I can download it into a PDF or XLS. I can use ChatGPT, ask it questions, and it'll go through all these contracts for me and tell me some answers. You know, those are all tools that are very powerful. These are all free tools too. This is not adding to your budget at all. Okay. So this is a $2.3 million contract right there.
Right. But what we want to do, we want to find the contracting officers, because just like they have that $2 million contract, they have those micro purchases as well as the simplified acquisitions, where you don't have to go through the bidding process, where they can trust the work that you say you can perform because you've worked for them in the past. They have your capability statement. You've proven yourself, you understand how the government works. And this is a free list of contracting officers and their phone numbers. And I have known people literally they have used the procurement manager has used their P card 7 and 8 times in 1 month for services that was rendered for whatever they needed performed. Imagine just on some contractors, thank you so much, Shane. Officers show their actual department name. Can we still reach out to them? Absolutely. Absolutely. Can you search by local guard and Army bases? I know you can search by state, so you can do it by the bases as well, Mark?
That's the agency. That's the part of the hierarchy, okay? As you get into the hierarchy of the actual bid, and all of this information here means something, so the information is there for you as you step into it, okay? So that's when you download the Excel spreadsheets, or you come in advanced search, add and you can go into the contracted agency, stepping into that office name, office ID, and then when you get down to the office, that's the let's see if I can just use a terminology like base, see if that comes up. Okay. So this is be like the Coast Guard base Alameda. So this is in Alameda County.
Alameda
You get
County.
down all the way down to the lower level. Now this is, of course, pulls up, it's for reverses, but I should have checked earlier on. You can come over here and you say, I really want my data in an ascending order rather than a descending order. So you can tell it how you want the data, but it steps through to it. So it's a big data pull.
And look at some of these small purchases. I mean, these are simplified acquisitions, which there's no bid required. Now, some of the simplified acquisitions do require for you to have, they might be set aside for woman-owned or veteran-owned or 8A or whatever, but not micro purchases. The magic in micro purchasing is you can swipe your card. They can swipe your card multiple times, multiple times, multiple times. And some of these look at that, 7,800. That's a micro purchase. And they sell supplies, uniforms, you name it, services. And I think that each of us, instead of just always focusing on these larger procurements, we have an opportunity to keep our businesses afloat where we can afford to add staff so that we can work this government process, because it becomes frustrating when we don't win. Now, let's look at, why do we have protection? We have protection because we have the FAR. Part 13 talks about simplified acquisition procedures. The magic of this, it tells you, this gives you, we talk about magic, this brings magic to you because it's just knowledge, and we should learn the FAR as it relates to what we are working on. Look at this. It shows you about the threshold. It is the provisions, the new amount, because case by case, it used to be, look at this, it could be 20,000 now.
That's correct. I was going to correct it earlier, but I didn't want to throw that out. So there are different levels of threshold. 20,000. In some points, it's 35,000. Okay, so different projects, different areas of base and makes codes, and others measures that you can that the contracting officer can use to actually get in there and make those decisions. And Cynthia also mentioned to you briefly about your profile in the small business dynamic search system. And if you are in your RFP delivery account, which is one of our services at GovDirections, and you have a GovDirections account, your username and password works here. When you log in, you have a dashboard. It'll look like actually like this here. I was in there getting my capability statement. When you load that up, we of course provide that information to contracting officers who are advertising. But here's your dashboard. You'll see your UEI number here once you add it. If you add your UEI in your settings here, update your UEI, place your UEI number there. That's mine. Okay. On your dashboard, you can then take this UEI number, link through to your SBA profile. Okay. The small business dynamic search system uses this to alert contracting officers that you are available to work on micro purchases of some sort, or even any specific bids that you're going to pursue. This is my profile, and you should go in there and keep that updated. Now, the way they do that, let's just say, for example, and I'm going to pull up the SBA here. Let's see, dynamic small business. Here we go. Thought I had it right there. Wait, small business search system, DSBS. There we go. Okay. And they would go in, and let's just say I'm looking for someone in Georgia to help me with janitorial project. I got a project that's less than 25,000, less than 20,000, whatever the threshold is for my organization that I'm looking. I may come in, I'll type in the word janitorial, and then I'll just do a quick search. I might go in there and look for some other demographics that potentially I'm looking for, but usually I'm going to start off with the big picture. Okay. And I'm going to search using that criteria. All of you are in here if you registered as SAM, System for Award Management. And that's important to understand that it's just an overlay of that information. It doesn't pick up all of the details anymore because there's different, since they've consolidated systems, they're collecting different data points. But here, you'll see the capabilities narrative, okay? And it's completed. Okay, but these are the companies that will show up. A lot of us forget to add the capabilities narrative. And just as an example, I'll just show you mine. I use mine as an example all the time. Okay, and here's my UEI. Okay, and if if organization comes in and was to search for human resource consulting, which is what I do, okay, and they would have that profile in there in order to try to find somebody. Okay. And they searched, I'm not going to come up because I don't have my capability statement prepared, my capabilities narrative done. It hasn't been loaded into the system. I, of course, do that. I have it, but I use this as an example in a teaching method. But you need to do that. In addition, you saw earlier, just briefly, the way to get found, okay, is to have that keyword, janitorial, okay, or whatever service you provide. Okay. And I'm clearing out this search here. I'll get what I want to put. So when I go in and actually search it, and I find these companies, you'll see that I wouldn't come up because I didn't have my capabilities narrative in there. But there's some companies go in and give a nice statement, a nice paragraph. It's written really well. Maybe they had it wordsmith and it's done. It's there for you, but they don't come up because they don't have all the right keywords. Because you have to have keywords. That's really, nobody's really reading that statement per se in this particular system. And I'm sorry, it's a little slow. It's an old cold fusion system. There we go. See if it comes up. But it is I would say this is the number one way for contracting officers to learn about your company in a potential small business purchase, in the sense that they don't have to go out and compete on these, and it saves them time and effort in the process. So you see here how this person had a lot of different keywords there, not necessarily a full paragraph like this one did. They're more likely to get hits than this particular one. So when you do update it, make sure that you go in there and you use the keyword philosophy and approach that you do it. Okay. And in your profile, also make sure that I'm choosing this because I can tell that they did it right. Make sure you have your capability statement linked. Make sure you have the website if you have it. In this one case here, they don't have their HTTPS. So a lot of companies, a lot of organizations won't be able to click through that. Okay. And so make sure you have the secure link. Okay. In addition, when you add up the information, you want to go in and you want to make sure you have your keywords down here, as well as that capabilities narrative right here. And notice they did the same thing on both those. Also, when you do this, get those past performance links as you grow. Okay, whatever they are, add them in there. And this is how you'll get a good hit on a potential micro purchase. Okay, so I like to always point that out. And you can find your profile just by clicking here. Okay, and if you are not familiar with how to actually go into the system in order to update your profile with SBA, you just go to connect.sba.gov. Okay, and this will be, you can log in with your username and password that you have with SAM, and it'll show you how to update. Okay, it's not difficult at all. Okay, I frequently hear folks who pay hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of dollars to get somebody to assist them with that and do that. It's just really not complicated. In fact, if you just click here on Let's Zoom and you choose discussions with me, I'll be glad to go in there and make sure or the small business checkup, where we actually spend an hour with you to make sure you got it all done correctly. But here, just a general overview, and it's free, okay? Just to give you that access to that information, to make sure you got it right. Because if you're not in here and you're not in this part here, your likelihood of winning a micro purchase is not high. Okay, you've got to have your small business system set up. It sends a sign that you're ready to go. Okay, sorry to hijack that. I wanted to.
No, I love it. I love it because RFP delivery is absolutely a magnificent tool. I mean, it is as comparative to anything that they do on the federal level. I think that you have prepared people. What we do at GovDirections is you prepare people to win if we follow through and do all the necessary little steps. That's why these trainings are so important, because even myself, I need to do some updating so that I can win more micro purchasing. It is amazing to be able to have a P card. They have a P card. We can receive it. Upon the receiving of it, you get paid. So this is great, Mark. You have everything we need inside of RFP delivery so that the federal space can look at us, even just not from what they offer, but what you offer. That's why these things are so important. These platforms are
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, and we try to make that easy because most of your business will be micro purchasing in this field. It's a $7 trillion marketplace, but it's a lot of contracts. 5,000 new bids issued every day. By far, most of these are less than the 25,000 threshold, and that's how they typically work. Now, there's different thresholds, and as you remember, up to that first level, they really don't even have to bid. They just call out and get some quotes by individuals. Just call you, say, hey, give me a quote, okay? And then the second level is the more streamlined acquisition, 25,000 to 250,000, set aside automatically to small businesses. But there's going to be some bidding required, but it's streamlined. It's not anything complicated. I get a lot of calls all day long, Frank. It's just stay busy about how do I bid next. Now, we have at GovAdvice, we have a micro consulting platform where we have the experiential teaching and how to actually start working. And I'm always a big believer, not trying to hold you into a long-term program, but it's 2 to 3 months to really teach you. By the third month, you win. In fact, I had somebody today who emailed me and he won the first contract, and it took exactly 3 months. And they won. They found out today, and it was a nice one. That's the largest contract they've had. It's going to have been set for a year. So over here, I've got some questions over here in the chat box. And I want to call out one of those is how do you actually register for a P card? Now you're not going to register for a P card. Okay.
Yeah, the P card is on the government side. Yeah, well, the P card is on the government side. So you don't need a P card. You just need to be able to receive credit cards. That's pretty much it. The procurement officer has the P card. That's why you want to get to be his friends, because he can strike his card and buy from you once he knows your capabilities. Once he knows your quality that you can execute. You make his life easy.
And so all you have to do is have the ability to take a credit card. You can do that through PayPal. You can do that through QuickBooks. You can have setups with like Stripe. These are easy systems these days. There's a fee for that, but you have to make sure you include it in your price of your work, but they're able to buy straight off on that purchasing card. And so, one of the questions is here also is, are micro purchases set asides? No RFP writing, no bidding, the question mark. Well, once again, they're not set asides. Okay. They're not, I need something done. It just doesn't rise to a level that I need to go out to bid. It's not, I've got the authority as a contracting officer just to strike a transaction. It's under 10,000 or under 25,000, whatever the number is for that agency, that NAICS code, that area. They're just able to buy straight up. Sometimes though, some local ordinances, they may say, oh, we still want you to get 3 quotes. So they may just call you up and say, give me a quote. I need somebody to come in to do 1,000 square feet pesticide or, pest control. And this is a small transaction. I don't want to have to go through all the trouble of the bidding, which can take months sometimes. And so I just need to give you to give me a quote, and you should be able to be prepared. Almost, I'd say 9 times out of 10, you may even say 10 times out of 10, they would say, well, send me your capability statement. And then we're going to use that as a guide. And then they just want to contract with you specifically. They'll give you a PO and then they pay that. Okay. That's how that's done. And it's also not to say whenever they have the P card, those are quick purchases too. I'll tell you, Cynthia, I had one transaction with a state department. I sent them an invoice in the afternoon. The next morning that was in my bank account. That's how quick it was. Used to, it was, sometimes 30, 60 days. It's not like that anymore. It's straight up, if they know who you are, it's a transaction in place. You registered to SAM, you've been vetted, you're legit, you got the work done. They can pay you straight up and make that transaction happen quickly.
Yep. The Department of Defense, when in the heart of COVID, they needed masks immediately just for a small meeting. They didn't need a lot, so they swiped their card into my account multiple times. And they needed product the next day. And before I knew it, the account was just flooded. And guess what we did? Now, we were in Georgia and they were in the Maryland, D.C. area. I hired a guy with a private plane. He went there, he dropped everything off. He charged me so much, but I still made a major profit because he swiped his card for this function they were having in the heat of COVID. I'm telling you all that to say that don't despise the small beginnings with the micro purchasing.
And so the other is there's a question about where to link your SAM account or UEI. Well, here, when you're logged in at RFP Delivery, it takes you to the dashboard. You go to settings, okay? If you don't have your UEI, well, you actually should be prompted with a little message that says, give us your UEI, because that's so important in this business. It says update UEI here on your settings, and you just drop that in there, and then you can update it. Now, as you know, UEIs are really at the federal level in SAM, System for Award Management. All of those numbers and letters mean something, okay? And then your cage code is secondary. That means something to the Defense Department, telling you your security clearance, all kinds of information, okay? So that you have that in that detail. When you update that, at that point, you'll populate here for your UEI, and you click that, it'll take you to your SBA profile. Okay. If you want to schedule an appointment, also in your main dashboard, come here. Let's zoom. Okay, and then you can book a time that's available to you. Okay, and they're based on the actual topics that are there. Okay, different ones. Only one you can't really the ones that charge for is the writing intake. We spend hours with those clients, and so that's important. And then you can do a full small business checkup where we actually go in and evaluate not just your federal but also state and local. Okay, we spend an hour with you on that one, and it's by far saves you tons of money because the first thing that happens, you get an interest in a micro consulting, you don't have something done correctly, and that can take you weeks or so to get straightened, and you've lost out on that. Do you use subcontractors for your contracts? Do you, Cynthia? You just spoke about that. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. People do all the time. I know people who went in hub zone contracts who are in the hub zone. They don't provide the service, but they sub it out to another company and they share the resources. So absolutely you can.
Yeah, I'm frankly, sometimes it's not necessarily a subcontract, but you could do a 1099 or an associate. You and I work together, and you can 1099 me, and I can 1099 you, and we come together as a team, and we build that relationship. Other time, you bring in a specific expertise. You do this temperate training, and I'm doing the actual classification of a job, and we bring that together as a product where we have two different companies, one subcontracting with the other. So you have different forms of ways to contract with each other in order to serve the government itself. A lot of times I get calls about a middleman concept. And, the thing with that, I do get these a lot where folks call and say, hey, I want to bid on this project, but I don't have anybody to actually provide the product yet. That's not really a wise strategy. You need to have that relationship in place before you actually pursue a bid. Now, if I want to bid on shoes for prisons, these are big contracts. That, I see that all the time. Yes. Those guys go through a lot of tennis shoes. They like to have the tennis shoes. And so if I have somebody who can provide the tennis shoes lined up, that makes me have the ability to actually bid on that. And then if I have a special certification, it makes it even better. Okay. And so you have those, and that's really how you actually work it. Once you get that contract, then you get tagged left and right on your MicroPurchases after that, where they can just come in there and they can make a smaller purchases from you because they got you in their database. Where's the link? Okay, I think we got all the questions answered today. Anything final you want to talk about, Cynthia, before you? We've been spending some time with them today.
I just want to say to you all to make sure that you have a good capability statement. Make sure that you register in these all of these portals, like that the SBA offer. Make sure that everything is complete and follow through. And then every single day, look for the micro purchases. Or once you've looked and see what's coming out next, be prepared to present yourself. She says how to get to the easy search again.
And this is the FPDS.
Okay. FPDS.
Now, this is a function of your SAM account. When you're logged in SAM, you actually get some more features. Okay. But SAM.gov, and you go to the very top contract data. Okay. And for all of us, some of us who, when we first start out, you might want to go in and take a look at others that have been already prepared for you. These are ad hoc reports that they've already kind of got for you. Okay. Now, if you go to fpds.gov, there you're going to find at the very top that option of easy search. Okay, and I saw somebody asked earlier about cybersecurity. Okay, I can go in, pull it out, show me the cybersecurity contracts. Okay, 8,000, small transaction. 2020, remember, I can come in and limit it to more recent ones, top line, and it gives you a lot more search features there. Okay, advanced searches, add, select one, and I might want to go into actually contract award date or award status, award completion date. So these are different ways a lot of different parameters I could search. And if you haven't found ChatGPT, once you actually do this, you produce your results, you can tell it to analyze. It's a free tool, and it come in and allow you to do that. And maybe I want to do create a date. That's a good one. Started maybe in March of this year to August. Okay. And you got to make sure you do it right. It's not dummy proof. Okay, there we go.
Yes.
I do that a lot.
For Cheryl Powell, Cheryl Powell is basically looking for she's looking for the FPDS, isn't she? Yeah.
Okay. You could spend all day on this.
This should be a series of classes. It is so much inside of this that it's amazing. And when you can download this spreadsheet and have all the data you need, and just have someone dedicated to just pulling out contracting officers, partners, teaming partners. You could actually build a company from this. She said, is micro-purchasing for those who provide wholesale products? Good question, Michelle. I don't know, Mark. I'm not certain about that. Did I lose you? Technology, isn't it beautiful? Mark, you've paused. Hey, Mark, we lost you there. We had a couple of questions for you. Again, we'll get that question answered for you. I really want to challenge you all to please start looking for these micro purchases. Build you some past performance so that we can go after the $5 million to $2 million contracts. The Department of Defense buys everything. And so don't limit yourself to just one thing. And once you get in with the contracting officer, they are dependent on you to perform for them, to execute everything that they're looking for. They will call you. Trust me, they will call you. Can I review this from the beginning? I came in late. Yeah, he said he lost power. We probably got another storm in Atlanta. Okay. I'm answering Mark right quick.
Here. Okay,
yes.
Sorry about that, folks. We
don't
actually have a storm right now. It's just a brownout, and they have been going on more and more. So we're back. So apologies about that, and hopefully you're all still here. Yeah, so we're getting close to the end anyway. That was a sign. That was a sign.
They cut off because they didn't want you to get all this great free information. This is not even a training class. This is just an informational that will help you speak after some of these micro purchases. I want us to become more aggressive as it relates to federal contracting so that we can not be limited, because there's nothing worse than never winning and you've spent a year or 2 or 3 and you can't even afford to get a capability statement designed. But if you do this, you have a greater chance of being able to afford the other things that you need. How do I change my email on DSBS?
So with that, I would just share with you your DSBS, go to connect.sba.gov, and you're going to be able to log into your system and show that and be able to make those changes. Now, there is a YouTube video that's on that I give to a lot of clients, and this actually tells you how to do things. I'm going to drop this into the chat box, okay? And so I encourage you to watch that. It's very easy. It's not anything that you need to be overly concerned about, but it's, let's see, I thought I did that again. But they did a good job at explaining it. It takes just minutes to do. Okay. Okay. And so you can go there and use that. So as we wrap up, I just want to go back to that whole discussion about the capability statement. Looking at the answers now, we got 27 out of 27. 56% have your capability statement ready to go. Okay. That means that 40% of you, roughly 40, but just over 40, 42 don't have one. Okay. So in this group here, those 56%, those 15, they're ready to go. Okay. You're the one winning the contract. The rest of you, you're not ready and you're not going to win a contract. Okay. So just to lay it out there. If a government asks you for that, you're not ready to go, you're gonna find that an issue. So take the time to prepare. It's not that you have to pay somebody to do it or anything like that. You can do it yourself, but get your capability statement. It should be a one-page document. You need to have your NAICS codes on there. Cynthia does a great job at those, and she has a video online with us to talk about that. But you got to get that capability statement there. Second question we asked about RFP. I've written and submitted a response. 10 out of 27. Only 37% of you have actually written an RFP response. Okay, you're not going to win unless you bid. That's another thing.
That's the scariest part of this process. Is people don't know where to start in terms of, yeah, it is.
Okay, okay. I'm going to take the scariest thing out. Okay, just go to ChatGPT. That's just one way. Okay, I'm not a big believer, but it's at least to get you started. Okay, go in, take an RFP. Let's see here, document. Okay, you want to first. What I always like to do is first I'll drop in my actual my capability statement. Say, here's my capability statement. Okay, write me a response. Okay, and I'll drop it in there. Let me just go. It's so simple. Desktop. Here's mine. Okay, there. Okay, draft a response for me to this RFP, this request for proposal. You need to tell a little bit more. Okay, but I have done enough so that's actually come in and do that. Okay, draft proposal shown in.
Oh, Mark, I've never used this like that. This is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Boy, this is a game changer, guys.
Oh yeah. Now it's not going to. You know what I'm just going to choose one. Here's one right here. Okay, I'm just going to throw it in there. Okay, run it, submit it. Okay, it's going through, and now I'm telling it to write one to a school district for school transportation. Of course, I don't do school transportation, so I'm not sure exactly what it's going to tell me. Okay, and so it'll give you. There we go. So it gives you a good. What this really does, Cynthia, it just gives you a good outline. Okay, so don't take it word from word here, because if you do, I see this all the time. And somebody says it uses a lot of bolding. I can tell when my students use ChatGPT because it's the same thing over and over again. You know, so don't make that mistake. But just take it as it's done an outline for you. Okay, and ask it what are the key dates, so you don't miss the key dates. This is so much easier these days. Okay, a proposal. Okay. And you would think it's going to put some folks out of business. It's not going to do. It's going to make you more powerful. It's going to give you more tools. Okay, tells me all the things I don't want to miss. Okay, take time. So I'm going to take out all the mystery about it in RFP. It's not that complicated. Yeah. Pull one down today. Read it through. See what you know. Okay, focus on the things you don't know. Go in there and download this free tool. Drop in the RFP. Say, I don't understand this particular item. Please explain it more for me. Okay. And it'll give you some information. These are great tools. Make advantage of them. And then finally, we have two people who said they actually have won MicroPurchases. Congratulations, and that's good news. We want to make it. We want to see more of you doing that, because that's why we're here. Okay. So thank you. We've now had 55 minutes. This will be available online at YouTube Live immediately following the session. Okay, so it's there, and you can go on there. Please make some good comments for us and Dr. Harper especially. She does such a great job And I just can't speak highly enough of her and her ability to communicate and give this information to you in a way that you can understand it. Any final comments, Cynthia?
No, I think you did an excellent job. This wasn't a train. This was just information, guys. I just want you to have it. I want you all to be knowledgeable of what's available. The magic of micro purchasing is the knowledge that goes along with it. And this is it. It's here. It's for free. Let's go after some of these contracts that are in our sphere of influence that we can win. That's all I say. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all so
And,
much.
as you're all hanging out here, I'll tell you other tools that you do. I do this all the time too. In my local government, I go in and I'll drop in their budgets and say, tell me what they're going to spend money on this year. What are they going to buy? Okay. And so if you sell trucks, what are they buying any F-250s? They got the budget in there. I think a lot of people sometimes think I'm a lot smarter than I am, Cynthia. Most of it's just
you're smart.
I'm just using these tools, and that's how I find the answers. And that's important that everybody does it. We all have the same access to this information. It's free. Just got to go and just find it. Okay. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Reach out to us. Dr. Harper's email's in there. I encourage you to reach out to her. She does a really great job. She helps clients with just about every issue related to getting started in government contracting. So especially the capability statement. Nobody does a better capability statement than Cynthia.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today.